Go ahead, man.
Hey, quick question, man.
Start the show, man.
Hey, today must be a special occasion.
Why is that?
Considering your attire. What color is that?
Y'all would call it pink or, elevated salmon. Mm-hmm. I call it marvelous.
Mauve-tastic.
Mauve, baby.
Man, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
I would like to welcome you to the Greatest Show on Podcast. I'm your host, Lee.
What else?
AKA Southside Lee on IG.
What else?
And I'm joined by my partner in pod.
Yes! Earlington Agustas the Great.
AKA
Your baby mama's baby daddy.
AKA
Mr. Mauve.
AKA
Deep Soft. And we are
3ThePodWay. Chumps.
Your success took a shot at it. What are you gonna do now? How are you gonna kill it? You gonna become unsuccessful?
You goddamn right. Let's give it up for him. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with 3. The Podway, that is. A wise man once said, stay in your lane. It's less traffic there.
Yucks!
Let's give it up for him.
Oh, my bad. Go do your thing, bro. My bad. I be getting excited.
Didn't your man just say stay in your lane, dog? There's less traffic there, dog.
My bad.
No, backyard is only one way and another way if you go. It's not room for 2 cars, boy.
I appreciate you looking out.
Hey,
we gonna do no. We gonna do this the right way. We gonna do this the right way. Hey, let's introduce yourself, man.
Sorry.
Sesly, Bwoi, the voice. We here.
Let's give it up for him.
If anyone needed a translation, he said, in your backyard,
right,
there's only room for one car. Did you say one car? Stay out. Maybe I need help with the translation too. Something about staying in my lane.
Okay.
And don't back up unless you got a rear view camera. Something along those lines.
Something along those lines.
I didn't say it.
That's funny, man.
Yeah. Don't you gotta pay the bills?
Yeah, man. Hey, let's give it up for our sponsors, man.
Yeah.
Follow 3ThePodWay on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Chumps.
Sounds so beautiful, don't you agree?
Come on.
Coming in week week out, and asking you gentlemen how your week has been, in a word, terrible. Neither one of you ever offer anything of value
exciting?
at all. So I preface that to say I don't want to ask.
Okay, right.
But
you're still gonna do it.
But I'm gonna ask, right? Because that's just how people start podcasts. So
right.
How was your week?
You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you, man.
It's been terrible in a word.
Okay.
You just proved this point.
Yeah. A funny story. I lost my dentist today.
Oh, walk us
I
through
lost
that.
the dentist.
Walk us
today.
through that.
Yeah. So, my man put me on to something. He was like, when you go to a dentist office or any contract that you're signing, right? You obviously don't have to agree to everything within that contract. This being said, when you go to a medical office, any medical facility, you're a new patient, or if they like re-upping on their annual plans or privacy agreements, there is a clause in there that says if you're late to an appointment or you cancel within, under 24 hours, you got to pay X amount of fee or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He put me on. He was like, yeah, I just go in there and I, either like deny or I'll cross it out, initial my name, and you know what I mean? Yeah, they'll just accept it as is, or or they won't. So I pulled that move today.
Okay.
And I went in, I was reading it, it was like $50. I'm like, wait, $50 to, like, if I can't get to the appointment on time, like if it's an emergency, I'm not gonna pay that.
So don't give you like a grace period or nothing
the
like that?
standard is like 25. I thought, like, I've seen that.
I never got hit with a late fee.
Yeah, I've never either. But like 50 is egregious, bro. Like, you could do a lot with 50.
Now is that COVID pricing?
Maybe, but that don't have nothing to do with me.
Right.
At least from my perspective, that's how I was looking at it. So, and not to mention, I've been going here for like 8 years.
Right.
So this is a new reception. I was like, oh no, I don't want to.
But this is the same one that you had.
Yeah, I had a little previous issue.
You had a previous issue with him, right?
A small backstory is I had an appointment. They canceled on me the day of the appointment and didn't notify me.
On you.
Right. Didn't notify me. I pull up to the office. I never got my $50.
I'm gonna say, did they credit you $50?
Right. I never got $50 for them canceling on me. So in my head, I'm like, nah, y'all already in violation. Y'all not about to run me for, to sign this. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to sign this portion. And she's like, well, we can't see you. And I'm like, well, it's never been an issue before. I've been a patient here for 8+ years. And she's like, yeah, that's policy. So
with that, so did you show up to the appointment late?
No, I was at the appointment 30 minutes early.
So where did the whole $50 come in to play?
That's just to sign to agree, like if I was late or missed an appointment moving forward.
Yeah, that's different. I've never did that.
I think
so. You were willing in essence to draw your line in the sand.
I drew my line. She drew her line. I'm sure if the physician knew that,
right,
she wouldn't be there because that's goofy, right? Because as a physician, the amount of money that you're getting in a copay,
right,
and what you're charging my insurance to just take an X-ray or do a cleaning or whatever,
it's not worth the $50. It's not worth a potential $50 standoff.
Right.
Yeah,
so, but she was being herself, and I was like, well, I reserve the right to not do this because I'm paying for your services. What I mean? I'm paying you like. I don't have to pay. I don't have to be here. So
you said she was new though, right?
For me, yeah. For the 8 years that I've been going there, she was a new face to me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, I was like, well, can I get my my information? And she was like, huh? I'm like, yeah, you got my social, my address, like. Give me my paper back. Like I need my form that I just filled out. Give me my stuff.
Now
what she said.
And I walked out.
Now you going to petty.
I was trying to get my energy.
Today?
Trying to walk out with my pride a little bit. Yeah, it just happened today.
Yeah, you better get a call tomorrow and say, hey.
I sure hope so. Yeah, I sure hope so. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you. So let's fast forward to that. What's your response? Because inevitably that call is coming. Yeah. Because you can't afford to just have patients walking out.
I think it just doesn't make sense, right?
But what's your response?
My response is I feel like they owe me $100.
Okay.
Right, because the appointment that I showed up to on time, and they weren't there, no call, no show. Right. Which is like unheard of.
Right.
And then today's appointment, I've been wasting my time coming to your office. So.
Okay.
But I did find a new dentist. I got an appointment.
I was going to say, yeah, you're definitely not going to be hurting to find people who are willing to take your business.
Yeah.
So switching gears a little bit, I read something that was interesting today, and I just wanted to bring it up. Right.
Take my mauve off. Excuse me.
Take your time.
Hey,
take your time, Sam.
Hey, to all the listeners out there,
take my mauve off.
Hey, hold the mauve up, man, so they can see the mauve.
Viewers too.
Yeah.
By the way.
Oh, listeners and viewers.
It's marvelous. Marvelous.
Is it marvelous? Is it?
Y'all call it salmon. Go ahead. Y'all do
is
that.
Is it salmon?
So what I read, everyone's familiar with the stimulus package, right?
Are they?
Yeah. Are you familiar with it?
Break it down for them.
All right. So stimulus package, from what I gather, is going to result in $600 checks being sent out as opposed to the $1,200 that came earlier this year. And I believe unemployment is going to be $300 a week, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's the number. And again, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Right. But I saw something that was interesting. I wanted to put that in context, right? The first thing I saw was rich people feel as though $600 is a lot of money to a poor person. Right. And that puts a lot of things in perspective, right? That they believe from their level that $600 is a lot of money. Right. And again, we all know, we have families, man. $600, again, it's more than you had yesterday. But I mean, come on, man, that's a drop in the bucket for most families, right? Once you start paying for necessities, and taking care of things that you need to take care of. But let me put this in perspective. So a House of Representative, a representative of the House, let me say it that way, annually makes $223,500. That breaks down to monthly $18,625.
Jeez.
Which breaks down to $4,298.08 weekly, which breaks down to $859.62 a day. Now, this is the same person potentially that is voting on you getting $600 to last you until. Put that in, put that in context. Again, I don't have anything beyond that. It's just that I thought that it was interesting.
Nah, that's heavy.
Yeah. Do either you have a take on that?
I think the numbers in themselves say it all, right? Mm-hmm. Just hearing that out loud. One day of their salary would cover the stimulus package for one person for, that's
a family.
Is that the years? And that's
600,
year,
and
right?
then if you have
the relief
family,
for the year.
But if you have family, it's like an extra couple hundred, right? So it could work its way up to being more than 600 based on your family dynamic.
I think it's based on your family size. I think if
it's not a lot though, but it's still,
it's not. It's
right?
like compared to what we got prior to. I think for me, and I may be off a couple hundred or whatever, but I think between me, the kids, and the missus, it was like about 32, something like that, I think. And it was because, and it's also another thing too, if you make over a certain amount too, you don't get the full, I guess, necessarily, but at that time, the 1,200 or whatever. So we probably wouldn't even get the full 600.
So E has said something consistently that I think, depending upon where you are in life and what your current situation is, sometimes, I'm going to call it what it is, the arrogance of money. Will cause you to speak from a place of privilege, is what he calls it.
Right.
And we'll have conversations like, this, that, and the third. But it's like, well, no, there are people, there's a considerable amount of people that are in a situation that are really having to figure this out day to day. And these amounts are they're not comforting. I'll say that. Yeah, they're not comforting to people.
And I think also to that point too is, and you think about the types of fields that these professionals are in, like, right, as far as contracting. Like I said, I've been contracting now for 10 plus years, right? And at this rate, right, I know personally people that have lost their jobs, lost their jobs in this whole pandemic, gained a job, and then just to turn around 2 weeks later to lose their job again.
See, that's raw.
So and that's what you think. And when you're talking about how, minimal that $600 may be, like you said, if you're speaking from a plateau of privilege, or right.
But that's why I always put in the context, like, it's more than you had yesterday. Right. So although it's not a lot, it's still more. It's more than zero. Right. So, you still want to be, I don't know if thankful is the word. That sounds too much.
Yeah, because and honestly, I feel like almost it's like hush money.
To say I did something.
To say that did something, right? I think that's what it is, right? You can't do nothing,
right?
And that's what it's been feeling like since the last stimulus package,
right,
was approved and came out.
When they was talking about the last jump, man, I don't know, everybody was up and everybody was hyped, like, we getting free money, we getting free money, and the whole talk about you gotta have to pay that back tax time or whatever the thing is. But I know a lot of people that said once that check came in, they ran that thing up. At the end of the day, like
we've always said, man, do what you got to do, take care of you and yours.
Yeah.
If you're able to help somebody out or do something for somebody, man, just be a good human being and do it. Slightly switching gears. So we were talking about a House representative in that profession, et cetera, right? So it got me to thinking about my journey throughout my jobs and different professions that I've had over the course of my life, right? And it's actually
interesting, I'm sure.
It's interesting and it's comical, right? So for you, right, I could imagine, not that we talked about it in depth, but I think I know what your first job was.
I was a trash man.
No, before that.
A corner boy.
No, snack.
Oh my God.
Snack monitor.
Hey, we got him, y'all. Abracadabra.
That was
what? Yeah, you strike me as a snack monitor type. Because you know in class there was like
you can't set your own jokes up and then like as they're bombing, you try to like capture it.
So there was a kid that would be responsible for making sure that the Little Debbie snacks. That was you.
You sound really.
Well versed in his job description.
He's trying to pass this off to me.
So look, we'll talk.
I would have ran down on you and took your snack. So
it looked like you let
that marinate however you want.
Hey, listen, you will not talk about my snacks openly on this.
Cupcakes.
Man. So no man,
so candy corn boy.
So thinking about those different jobs, like I said, definitely brought about different emotions and different thoughts, right? So I have been gainfully employed by Vice the IRS since I was 14 years old.
Right.
Yeah, and so my first job.
What was that first one?
So in Alabama, right? It's pretty interesting. In Alabama, rules, let's call them, are loose. I.e., at the age of 8, you're able to go down to the corner store and get your grandma's Virginia Slims. You're able to go
cigarettes, by the way.
Yeah, you're able to get your grandfather's Budweisers because it's so small. The guy at the corner store knows your grandma, right?
Yeah.
So working at 14. So how did I get a job at 14? I used to play youth basketball and had a decent career, right?
Hold on. You're not gonna do that.
No, hold on. Can I?
All right, we're coming back to that.
Listen, I'm about to get that off.
A career.
Listen. I was all neighborhood. Hey, listen.
2 years running.
Hey, listen. I was all in front of my mama's house 3 years running. You know what I'm saying?
On that crate,
on that crooked rim though,
crate
with the no
attached to the pole, to the light pole.
So I'm going back and forth through the youth center and
is that what it was? You worked at a youth center?
Yeah, so it was the youth center. My man Hal used to run the youth center. So let me describe Hal to you. Hal is about 5'3", right? Older white guy. Looked like the Marlboro Man with a mustache. Always smelled like a fresh pack. You know what I'm saying? He wore Wrangler jeans. Yeah. Right, cowboy boots.
Now Bugle Boy,
and he always rode this like real small pickup truck. I've never seen a pickup truck this small.
He was saying, "What is it, a Suzu?"
What was it? I don't even know what it was. It was a small pickup truck. And so Hal came to me one day and was like, in his country twang, was like, "So you want to work here?" And I was like, "Yeah, doing what?" And so they put me in charge of the books. Does everybody remember the book guy? Keeping the score.
Oh, you want to score for like the game?
So the kids, so the kids could do that.
They had you cooking the books. I was like, I do not know these guys. I just met them this year, y'all. I just met them this year.
No, so I kept
Corner boy in the books keeper, dog. What's going on?
But you got to imagine at 14. Here's where it gets funny. It's funny because that too. Right? The most powerful person in the gym outside of the referees is the bookkeeper. Right. And when I say I used that. What? I had a demeanor like, nah. This is my
started
gym.
Back then.
Yeah,
this is where it started.
That's why he's like this. Now I get it.
That's why you the way you are.
Listen. I was the only bookman that used to walk in with a suit.
I can imagine.
Hey, listen, y'all here playing a game. I'm here for business.
Like, Lee, did you play today? Yeah, I did the books. Well,
how did my rebound? I got that last rebound.
He got 30. He put himself on the roster.
How you play for so many teams, Lee? Man, I'm just that good.
You know how guys say now I'm a walking 30 piece?
Yeah, that's you.
That's where that came from. I already had 30 in the books before you even started. Yeah. But no, so what would you say your first job was?
I also did my first under the table job was like legit a trash man.
Okay.
Worked
at what age?
With my brother. I was in 8th grade.
So 8th grade, and this is in Philly.
Yeah.
You rode on the back of the truck?
Nah, I just rode on the passenger seat, but it was like yes, but that was dangerous for a 12, 13 year old. But yeah, so I probably was like 13, but it was my brother's gig. He was working there and I was, getting paid slave labor. Now that I think about it, he used to give me like
was it slave for a 13-year-old though?
But I was getting like $50 to $100 for like a 40-hour week.
Oh damn!
You know what I mean? It was the summers. I would be like,
and no benefits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and no benefits.
I would wake up
no 401k
at 3-4 in the morning with him. Get out, get in the truck. You know what I mean?
Right.
Work the whole day. Now, granted, I got to sleep some of the rest stops, but for the most
that's
part,
every day.
I was every day during the summer. And then my legit.
And how to trash
stink. People think the inside of the trash truck stinks. It doesn't. It's the back. Like y'all getting the residue and the juices that's flowing.
Ew, dog, and fall in the middle.
But
of
inside the truck not bad unless you spill something on yourself, obviously. But yeah, so I did that. My first legit job was probably working at a youth center. Like I feel like that's the easy transition into that. Just like as a youth counselor or whatever. So
you counsel people.
Nah, that's what
you
that
don't
was
look like the counseling type. What you counsel people on?
Hey, little Ronnie, look. If you gonna sell the bricks though,
you can't do it in here on Saturdays.
That's funny.
But it was a youth counselor. What was that joint called? Seeds of Hope. So in the neighborhood. So that was it. That wasn't like very exciting.
So the journey continues, right? So okay, so we both started at the youth center, right?
Right. That's the intro gig.
Yeah.
Right?
So the journey continues. So for 2 years I did that, and then I was able to pick up a job at a grocery store.
Pick up a job.
Yeah, pick up a job at a grocery store, right?
Did you bag groceries?
No, I was a cashier and a part-time stocker.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you had 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Well, 2 jobs within that job, but then I still had the job at the youth center. I was still doing that too.
You was double dipping.
So let me tell you,
Jamaican over here.
So, so now 16 and 15, 16 and working the 2 jobs, right? So what did I used to do? I used to cash my checks and take all my money and walk around with all my money when I was in school. Right?
I had a homeboy that did that in high school.
Right.
So you that guy.
Yeah, right. So like
can't walk around because my not too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like you just felt good about pulling, that amount of money out at that age because it wasn't many that was able to do that.
You could have never. So interesting enough, right? The grocery store guys.
Yeah.
That was probably the riskiest job.
Did you get a tip?
Yeah, because like the dudes who used to we used to go up to the grocery store, ask to bag groceries or whatever like that.
Yeah, okay.
I did it a few times.
Yeah.
Then you walk people to their car and they tip you.
Right.
But those guys got robbed all the time because everybody knew that they was just getting cash. So
you walk in loose change.
Yeah. Like
a
guy like you would have been great back then, man.
Yeah, right. All right.
I'm just saying, I wasn't doing the robbing, but like they would have enjoyed it.
Yeah. A guy wearing mauve isn't really moving much over there. So we had talked. So the funny thing is that when you and I were talking about the grocery store thing, the first statement that followed was, "What's the statute of limitations?" And I know people might wonder, like, how does that factor into the conversation? If you've ever worked at a grocery store, you know exactly why we ask, what is the statute of limitations? Here's what I'll say.
Any
retail store here, that involves, I would say, groceries or grocery, right?
Yeah.
If you've ever heard this phrase, then you know what time it is. Hey, just make sure you grab a stick of gum.
Bring that up and nothing else.
Hey, listen, you talk. Hey, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
Is this thing on?
Abracadabra.
So you talking about the whole 4th of July setup is on the conveyor belt. But hey, make sure you grab.
Community.
Yeah. Now I'm not saying that I did that. I'm just saying that I know that.
I know a guy.
You know a guy, right?
Okay. Yeah. And, statute of limitations.
And then we had young cats, man, that would that's how they would get their cigarettes actually. They would develop a relationship with somebody older that worked there, and they would be able to get their smokes off of them. So
that's interesting.
So man, the grocery store, low key back then, it was the place to be, honestly, because again, you're like a low key like gatekeeper to a degree.
Yeah, I think so. When work got fun was probably like high school for me, right? And on that kind of gatekeeper thing, either you worked at like McDonald's or something like that, one of the fast food joints because you was the food plug, or you worked at like a retail store,
right?
And it was tiers, right? Like everybody that worked at Foot Locker was like Yo, that's like, he's the guy. Whoever he is, he's the guy. Because you get the uniform, 10%
discount. Or whatever
you see people walking around with they little striped jersey. You got work today? Oh, nah, I worked yesterday. Like, you ain't take your uniform off, dog. Like, man, you were so proud of that.
You remember the energy that I described about walking in the gym as the bookkeeper? Mm-hmm. When I worked at Hibbett Sports. I happened to work at a Hibbett that got all the Jordans. Right. So we were the release spot to come to.
Plug.
Listen, man, when I say your elevation within your peer group or within your city could go from unknown to most popular overnight.
0 to 100 real quick.
All they got to do is come in there and see you. Everybody wants to know who you are.
Right.
Everybody wants to give you their number. Everybody wants to say, hey, when they come in, let me know. Like, everybody becomes your best friend. Yeah. And then you start using that, like, when people come in, when certain people come in, you approach them with the conversation. Hey, you in the Jordan? Yeah, because we got
that Jubilees dropping.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't sell them until Saturday, but
right. But I mean, you let me know something.
Yeah, we got it.
I can let you know what's up.
I feel like that industry's still like that. But yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Plenty of.
But it's gotten crazy. These guys are cocky now. Yeah. Like we used to at least still engage in conversation. Like these dudes, it's like no. How dare you speak to me?
100 before I talk to you.
Right. Or when you walk in, he hangs out in the back and he never comes out to greet everyone else. But when his man come in, he come from the back, talks to his man, they get that together, and then he goes back to that spot
instantly. Right. But yeah, they had a few folks who, dry snitching.
Yeah.
They'd lose some boxes here and there out the back every now and then. Those were the days. And to your point, right, the neighborhood would come up and the line was, you get me whatever you get.
Right.
So you got 2 of everything. And yeah. Man,
I tell you what else. So I don't know what other jobs y'all had, but there was also again, because you still kids at the end of the day, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes they let you basically, run the place. And are you playing music? And if you are playing music, what kind of music are you playing?
Our joint was trash, man. We had the preset holiday,
right.
Holiday tapes.
Did you see the CDs? Yeah. Eventually they turned into CDs, right?
Yeah, we definitely had those.
Man, if y'all ever, listen. So you're in there, you're listening to these CDs so much.
The same music over and over.
Hate same 6 tracks.
You hate these songs.
Yes,
you hate them with a passion. But you know the word to all of them. And next thing you know, you just find yourself
making my way downtown, walking. Dog, that song's still stuck in my head from like high school.
That's a banger though.
No, it's not, dog. It's the worst song ever.
That's a banger.
If I could,
you look like you like it.
I think I do now.
That's funny.
I still remember that joint from literally from 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
I don't know why.
So let's ask this. And obviously I'm sure you had jobs as well, right? So first check. What did you buy with your first check from these jobs?
Oh God.
I got my I think I got my driver's license or my learner's permit from mine.
Okay.
So you responsible?
That sounded responsible.
Yeah,
I ain't start working. My man, I'm sorry, my parents love me and they took care of me. But nah, my first job, like I said, I was working at Checkers, so I was only there for about 2.5 months before I went to college. So that first time I got that check.
Oh damn! So you ain't worked through high school?
Nah, I was doing sports. I was an athlete.
Damn.
What constituted an athlete back then?
Yeah.
What were the parameters to be considered an athlete back then?
Playing sports.
No.
Yeah.
That's just participating.
Right.
Oh yeah, we didn't get participating trophies back then.
Like what'd you do?
I did track. I did track, baseball, and football. So I did baseball all 4 years of high school.
You played?
Yeah, I played.
You were on the team or did you play?
Yeah.
No, I started. I played.
Consistently, that's the question.
Yeah, I played.
So, so driver's license was your first purchase?
That was my first purchase because at Checkers back then, I think minimum wage in 2002, 2003 was like, I think in Maryland, I think it was like $6 or $7 or $5 probably back then.
That's terrible.
Wow.
I don't think we was really making too much bread. And I was, and at that time, at that age, you only could work a minimum of like 20, 25 hours a week.
Right.
And then on top of that, you balancing that with like 10 other people that got the job at your age. So I'm probably netting on a good day or a good week, probably 16, 17 hours.
So the harsh reality of life hits you and hit me obviously at 14. Gross versus net. Because in your head, when they hire you, they tell you we're gonna hire you at X amount per hour.
Them taxes
you immediately do the math and you say, man, if I work this many hours at this rate, this is what the check ends up being.
Never like that.
Then when you get, you didn't know that until you got the first check, and especially the first one because it's a in the hole check. So the first one is even more depressing, because it's even less than what the rest of the checks are gonna be.
The crazy part about it is
find out who Uncle Sam is,
right?
But then back then you probably wasn't paying, health insurance. Like obviously what we're paying now in our checks, right? Like health insurance and all that stuff. Like back then you probably was because you still under.
But it's still, but it still was a knock though because you're like 2 weeks in of work and you're like, man, this only added up to $200.
Same what I thought.
Yeah, right.
You get used to it after a while though. I mean, I quickly left when I went to college. I didn't work.
What's crazy is he said like his minimum wage at it's essentially at like 17 was like $6, but I remember my first job at like 13 was like $5.25.
I mean, and correct me if I may be wrong. 5
years, and I'm just saying, but like, damn, minimum wage ain't go up.
I think what is minimum wage now? Though I think minimum wage bumped up, and like
matter of fact, you want to look that up real quick?
That's outrageous.
So we'll segue into what did I buy with my first check?
What did you get?
I actually went to the store and actually bought candy.
Oh, okay.
Bought candy with my first check.
This at the grocery store.
Yeah. Right. Well, no, this is actually at the youth center.
Oh,
so I went and bought candy, and I was actually selling like blow pops and stuff for like 25 cents.
Oh, so you was flipping the work.
Yeah. Okay. So I was able to make a decent little living off of that. Just walk around with a backpack all day, because in school, middle school, everybody wants candy. Yeah. Skittles and, blow pops and stuff like that. So we was able to flip that a little bit. I don't
remember my first check. I just know that we had the luxury. We were able to cash our checks in store.
Right, we could do that too. Yeah, right.
Ever, dog. It's been so many days.
They taking the money right back to
them. I done walked out with $10 off of my check because I had every Jordan, like you said. I worked at Model Sporting Goods, which was essentially the lesser Foot Locker or Dick's Sporting Goods.
But that's like a local brand, right?
Yeah, it was local to the East Coast. Yeah, so but yeah, I used to walk out with all the Jordans. I had the all the jerseys. Jerseys was real big, right? So I had every Rasheed Wallace jersey, AI, blah blah blah.
Right.
Funny story, interesting. A little off topic, but AI. So where I worked was King of Prussia, right? That's like a
Philadelphia,
suburb.
That's the biggest mall on the East Coast.
Yeah. I hear it, but I guess since I was there, it doesn't have the flair.
No, I've gone.
It's bigger than the mall at Prince George's.
Yeah, that's not hard.
No shade. Hey, Mall of Prince George's is a great establishment.
But yeah, so that mall has like prestige attached to it. So that area, like Kobe grew up in that area. AI, once he got in the league, he moved his family to that area. Dog, when you say you can't take, people out the hood, dog, like
that's funny.
That family is like amazing, dog. Like they used to come in, his mom, his aunts, with like the big ass like gold dookie chains, like had AI, like AI's mom, AI's aunt, like AI's cousin, like literally like letting you know, like
right,
and buy up the whole story, dog, like all the time, yo. It was so funny. You could tell, like, oh, that's one of the Iversons or whatever when he came in all the time, just blowing.
That's
money.
Dope though.
That's interesting to be a part of that.
But back to that minimum wage thing. Currently, it's $11 for the state of Maryland.
That's crazy. So
in 2003, it was $5.15. It was $5 back in 2003.
Yeah, like
that's crazy.
It's went up $7.
$7. And the thing is, that is a fight just to get it to where it's at now.
Dog, trying to talk to your supervisor for a raise.
So you're telling me the cost of living has only went up $7 over the last 20 years? Like,
nah, that's just. I think they're banking on it that the people that's working in those positions are usual. high school graduates or high school,
right. You either
students.
It's I think they call them like a revolving door profession.
Exactly.
Where like people are only going to be there but so long, and then it's going to be some new blood that comes in there. So something else that used to happen on these jobs. I know we're kind of rushing through this, but again, I think it's interesting, right? Inner work, not office yet, because we're not in the offices yet. Inner work, politics, and issues with coworkers, right? Because like I said, we still kids at the end of the day. So issues that you had at school could carry over to your job, right? Because everybody
see you at work,
right? Because everybody knows where you work. And I remember one instance in particular, man. Me and this guy at Hibbett's, right? Let's just say, man, dude was known for being extra. And I remember we was in the back. It was one of these days where he was like being like real extra, doing like way too much. And we was in the back. And as I'm walking out, right? Now, mind you, we had a system where you could know if somebody was walking out so you didn't bump into them, right? So let's just say he chose today to not adhere to that system and he got bumped into, right? Now, I was a decent size as a kid. And so he took a slight tumble into the boxes of shoes. And let's just say that a shelf may or may not have fallen on him. This guy,
sounds like it did.
Listen, when I say I go out on the floor, because you know what I'm saying, I wasn't with his nonsense, right? He comes out on the floor in front of customers and he's literally threatening my life at this point, right? He's telling me everything that's going to happen to me, right? He said, I'm calling this person.
God, yeah.
So he wasn't going to do it himself.
Well, I mean, I guess he was going to be part of it, right? So he was like, so he telling me all this stuff, man, about how this, that, and the third going to happen. So now into work is coming. I'm going to be honest. I'm mentally preparing myself, right? I'm like, all right, well, it is what it is. Like, I ain't running. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be what it's going to be, right? I'm anticipating it's going to be like 4 or 5 people outside, dudes ready to, put in work. So we walk outside and it was his mom and his aunt. And needless to say,
who said they ain't got hands?
The threat level was low. So we get outside, like I say, I'm thinking it's gonna be something. And this is what I get approached with. Hey man, listen, everything that I said earlier, man, I was a little upset, man. But yeah, man, we good though.
Oh, that was good, man. He was mature. He squashed the beat, man. Look at that level of maturity.
Hey, let's give it up let's give it up for peaceful resolutions with your auntie and your mom in the parking lot. Give it up for my man.
I never had any altercations like that. It was a funny instance like that. I worked this when I was in college or whatever. I worked at Cricket. I don't know if y'all familiar with the phone company. And this was when they were like a startup, dog. Yeah.
Right. You worked for Cricket?
Hey, man, listen. We all did
man,
stuff.
You done been all over the place.
Let me see your resume, though.
Yeah, it's wild. So I worked at Cricket.
When you leave off the resume.
I was like a assistant manager at that joint, too, by the way.
Oh, wow.
At a Cricket. And
they really wasn't trying to be successful.
I had like my coworker or whatever. I forgot the joint name. It's probably best that I didn't. Anyway, like at that time, I don't know, like phones are people's lifelines. You can imagine, right? Like this is 10 years later.
Right.
Phones, dog. I mean, when your phone get cut off, like, cause these, Cricket was the
right.
prepaid joint. So
yeah.
if you ain't pay your bill that day,
right,
they cutting that joint off instantly, right? And now it takes, the reactivation fee,
right?
And it's another hour before, we got to call customer service for you to get your phone back on.
Right, and not to be funny, but you chose Cricket for a reason, so chances are
you ain't got the
right.
So you can imagine the caliber of customer that we dealing with, right?
I didn't say that,
dog. That's what you said. That's all you. That's all you tried to say.
Hey, I didn't say
my
that.
homegirl. I mean, you can imagine the kind,
Cricket,
the kind of people that they
Cricket.
hired.
If you want to sponsor us, hey, we still open to it.
So I'm working there. She's working there. Had an issue with the customer. Long story short, right? They get into it. And it's just like the same situation. I'm going to see you outside. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be back. I know where you work. My coworker goes, I get off at 7.
Right.
Like on some like, I'm like, wait, I didn't sign up. We're gonna close at 6. I didn't know this was gonna happen. Like she was all about it, dog. Oh yeah, all right, she calling her people. Like,
right.
I'm like, wait, did I just sign up for a gang war? Like,
man,
yo, the best times though. I love that job, yo. That was the best job ever, though.
To that point, man, those jobs, those experiences made us who we are today.
Yeah.
And the professionals that we turned out to be. But who would have ever thought that those kids then, would have turned into the adults that we happen to turn into?
I thought I had
today.
bigger dreams. I just wasn't sure how. Yeah. I done had some wild joints. I worked at a bank,
right,
in a grocery store. That was interesting in itself. Like, you know, peddling checking accounts. Basically, it was basically sales. Like I'm running around like, hey, you want a checking account with your potatoes? Like, like imagine that. Imagine trying to like, I'm just, going shopping or whatever. And somebody's like, hey man, you can get this good checking account with you.
Right.
And then the bank was low key slimy at the end of the day. I had like class action lawsuits against them. We were pulling the
get out of Philly quick, please.
No, this was in Pittsburgh actually, but it's just Pennsylvania as a whole.
As a whole state.
This was you remember when Wells Fargo had the issue with like it was opening up.
Yeah. All them random accounts.
Right.
Yeah, we
y'all was part of that.
We started that trend.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was people like you would come.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Trendsetters. Yeah, they you come in, sign up for a checking account or savings account. You walk out with a checking, a credit card, home loan, all that. You be like, God damn, did I get all it?
All right.
You gave one of them your social, boy. They run it up.
All right.
It was bad, man. It was bad. Good
Listen,
times.
man. So, like I said, man, good times, great stories, great experiences. Let's before we close out, let's get one more word from our sponsors.
Follow 3ThePodWay on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Chumps.
So with that said, we'd like to know what jobs did you have as a youth? And maybe not even as a youth. What interesting jobs have you had as an adult? What were the experiences there? Again, this is just open dialogue, and we'd like to throw it out to y'all and just see.
Or if you was privileged like The Voice and you've been had a silver spoon your whole life. You ever have to work,
dog.
It was gold. Excuse me, gold spoon. My bad. No disrespect.
I wish.
So, I mean,
I wish. Nah, man. I was just privileged. We took care of. We took care of. We had to take care of, man.
He said you used the key word.
Yeah,
right.
Standing that. That's good.
My mom knew what to do. My mom knew how to chef it up in the kitchen, and Pops. Shout out to Pops, man. Like we didn't need for too much, man. And he let us know the values of a little to make it a lot.
That's what's up.
So at the end of the day, man, we knew what to do. Like I said, I wasn't into everything that the kids of my age was into, like the Jordans and all that stuff, right? So I was chill with what I had, right? And I was doing sports and all that stuff. So at that time, it was like I didn't know any different.
Yeah.
So at that point, man, hey, college was where it was at. And in college, my eyes got opened up in college. So that's when.
What's that mean? Could you elaborate a little bit?
Hey, and with that being said, we're gonna close out. We're gonna close out strong. He came in.
Yeah.
Give it to him.
One thing for sure.
Two things for certain.
3ThePodWay.